come just with Esse. Not care about it in the neighbors per se. We keep it hot and juicy every day. As we go the yana, like we go the love and understand each other. I beg don't be mad if your friend won't come in just with Esse. Just with Esse. Come just with Esse. Just with Esse. Come just
Hi guys, welcome to another interesting episode of Gist with Esse. If you're watching us on Facebook, please don't forget to create a watch party. Don't forget to share on your page, to invite your friends and family to join the show. Today's show promises to be very interesting. And if you're watching us on YouTube and you have not subscribed, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button before the show is over. If you want to call in on the show, the number to call is +4474 66951 641. The number is right there scrolling, across the screen if you need it. But as the show progresses, I'm going to call it out again so you remember to call in on the show. Our guest today is Dr. Oluremi Odubanjo. He's a healthcare practitioner specializing as a general practitioner, that's a GP, in Tembisa, South Africa. Today, he's going to be talking to us about how we can preserve our health without waiting to fall ill before taking precautions. So get ready with your questions and any health concerns that you have. You see, most of the time, we ignore our health, okay? As long as you wake up in the morning, you feel strong, we don't think about taking extra precautions to keep us healthy throughout our lifetime until there's a problem. Then you find people, running helter-skelter to change lifestyle, to change, start taking drugs and all of that. But there are things that you can actually do to stop all this from happening. So Dr. Oluremi is going to be taking us, through tips that can help us. I'll bring him into the studio now. Hello, Dr. Oluremi. Thank you for joining us on Gist with Esse.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so quickly before we get started, can you just tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay. Like you've said, I'm Dr. Oluremi Odubanjo. I'm a core Nigerian. I attended military primary school. For some of your listeners and viewers that want to know, at Yaba, and okay. I proceeded to St. Timothy's College, Onike Iwaya. After which I went to Obafemi Awolowo University, formerly known as University of Ife, where I graduated as a medical doctor. And I did my house job, or we call it housemanship, back home in Nigeria, at Lagos University Hospital. Okay. After which I worked in 3 different private hospitals in Nigeria before I left for South Africa. I'm currently a medical registrar under the University of Wits, Johannesburg, in internal medicine. Thank you so much.
Wow. Okay, so tell me, why did you relocate to South Africa?
Well, I've been asked this question several times. The truth is, I've been into South Africa on 2 different occasions prior to moving here permanently. And the 2 different occasions were, when you leave your home country and you still have this kind of attachment, thinking things will get better. So I now realized after visiting South Africa that there is more to acquiring knowledge. So I left for postgraduate studies, which I've got 2 postgraduate studies in both HIV and clinical management of HIV in 2 different universities here in South Africa. So, and I realized that it's a citadel of learning for me and acquiring more knowledge. And that's why I decided to come here permanently.
Okay, so can you tell me what's the difference between practicing in Nigeria and South Africa?
Well, without mincing words, I would say there is much difference. Like, I'm not gonna lie and come here and make Nigeria look like has not done anything for me. I think the foundation has always been my home country, Nigeria, which I'm proud of. But the truth is, I think in terms of medical field, we tend to be more theoretical in Nigeria. Like we tend to read a lot, get facts, cram a lot, do a lot of reading, reasoning. But I discovered coming here, it's more of implementing what you've read. Like there are some things when I was back home in Nigeria, there are some things I've read in textbooks. I only read them in medical textbooks. But of which when I came to South Africa, I was able to practice these things. So two different things. Yeah, there is much difference. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Okay, so before we go into the gist of the day, can you tell us what good health actually is before we start talking about healthy tips, and all that? Can you tell us what good health actually is?
Okay, I think first and foremost, it would be nice to define health itself.
Health
itself, yeah.
Okay.
And according to World Health Organization, and you must underline this, it is defined as a complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of diseases, or as we call it, infirmities. You understand? So that is the definition of health by World Health Organization. And when we talk about good health, it's inseparable. That means we have to classify this good health in terms of physical, mental, and social well-being as well. And when you talk about good physical health, it's only when your body functions are working maximally at their peaks in terms of, how you function, your processes. And like I said, it's not just disease or infirmity. And when you talk about a good mental health, this is characterized by a person's, I would say, ability to fulfill a number of key functions and activities in his or her life. These include ability to learn, ability to express and manage a range of mental stuffs, emotions, ability to maintain a good relationship with others. That is being referred to as a good mental health. And when you talk about social well-being, it's also one of the components of health itself. I mean, this is the ability to maintain positive relationship, with people, family, friends, colleagues, co-workers, etc. So in talking about good health, it encompasses physical, mental, and social well-being, which I've just explained.
Yeah. Great. So it's all encompassing. It's just not one area of your life.
It's not at all. And like people say health is wealth. So you can imagine, you can have a good physical health, and if you're not careful, you fall into not having a good mental health. And if you're also not careful, you can have a good mental health, a good physical health, but in terms of your social well-being, you're not there. So this has to, and that's why the definition states clearly that it's a complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Attaining this completeness is another issue, which it's a discussion for another day, but then that is how the World Health Organization has defined health and its components.
Okay, before we proceed, I'd like us to take a little break before we get other people to join in on the show. We're going to be looking at the focus of the week shortly, and then we'll be right back.
Thank you.
dá mi lọ́lá. Ọlámídé o. Ayé Ọlámídé. Ọlámídé. Èmi lẹ́ni ọ̀la. Ọlá mi yí wọlá o. Jésù Kristi ló dá mi lọ́lá.
Okay, welcome back to the show. That was Olamide by Olori Oba. You can find her on YouTube to watch the full video on Olori Oba. Her YouTube name is Olori Oba. That music is still trending. She released it a couple of months back, but it's still trending. It's still hot on YouTube. So you guys go over to YouTube after the show, okay, because we're still on the show and Dr. Odubanjo is still in the house, and check out Olori Oba. If you're just joining us, well, you're welcome. You can share the show on YouTube, on Facebook. Sorry about that. Okay, so if you're just joining us, you're onto Gist with Esse, and you can share on Facebook if you're joining us on Facebook. If you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And we're in the studios today with Dr. Oluremi Odubanjo, all the way from South Africa, and he's here to share with us some tips on how to preserve your health. So Dr. Oluremi, you were saying you just finished talking about, how good health is all encompassing. So it's physical, it's mental, it's social well-being, it's emotional well-being as well. Hello, Dr. Odubanjo, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, but your screen is frozen, so.
I can see you, I can hear you very well.
Okay, so viewers, can you let us know, can you hear can you see him? Can you guys see him? Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, let's know. It's frozen on my end. Please drop a comment. And if you're on the show, drop a comment, say hi. Even if you don't have any questions, let's know you're here and, get the show going. So we'll just wait to hear back because, I hope that, yes. So Oyemi says, yes, I can see him. So we're good to go. So what are some factors that can determine good health?
Well, the determinants, or like you said, factors that can determine good health can be categorized. We can actually classify them. And like I've said, we can put them into what we call genetics. And when we talk about genetics, I'm talking about the physical health now. These are some of the things that it's beyond our control, and that's why it's from the gene level, and that's why we call it genetics. Like, for instance, which is very common back home in Nigeria, the issue of sickle cell anemia. It's not something that one can say it is caused because I'm not eating well, or it's because it happened because it happened during birth, or because like these particular medications that I've taken or that somebody took that causes sickle cell. These are just genetics. It's from the mother and the father, coming together with some genes. I don't want to elaborate on that and bring it. These are just genetics. When we talk about thalassemia, it's the same thing. So these are genetics that we can't really help or modify. Then we talk about behavior as well. These are factors that can also affect good health or affect our health. For instance, people tend to believe that smoking, like my late father was a chronic smoker before he stopped, and at some point in time, the damages have been done. So these are other things, smoking, alcohol. You talk about substance abuse, which is extremely common in Nigeria these days. And even there is a particular song by Olamide, not the Olamide that you show on your
that we just showcased, yeah.
Olamide, the hip hop singer, talking about numerous names of all sorts of substances that people can use to enhance sex or do a lot of things. These are factors, these are determinants of a good health. We've had increasing cases of chronic renal failure in Nigeria. We've had increasing cases of liver failure. These are factors that people tend to like overlook. And some of our elderly patients will even tell you that I've been smoking before you were born. So tell me, which cancer are you talking about? So these are factors that determine health. We talk about the environment. If you look at CNN, when they start showing the percentage of pollution of atmosphere on CNN, when they come to Africa, you'll be amazed about the percentage that they are displaying. So we talk about occupational hazards, we talk about, substances in the air, combustion, we've got a country where majority of the cars being powered by our transporters, the downfalls, the motorways, the combustion is like you are cooking a whole meal for the whole Lagos state. Sorry to say, I mean, everything is just coming out, people inhaling all those things. These are factors that determine good health. Then we now have to talk about the medical care itself. I mean, we talk about our country, particularly Lagos state that I know very well, where it's like paying a whole salary of someone for a year to get into your ICU setting there. Somebody is critically ill, cannot afford to be admitted into the intensive care unit of a Lagos University Hospital or Lagos State Hospital. These are factors. We talk about a country where our government have not woken up to understand that good health means a good nation. So these are other factors. We talk about, social factors, poverty. I mean, I remember back then when we used to go home for Christmas and New Year, when we get to our villages, we were given fruits, vegetables, fresh farm produce. Now, we are the one taking all these junky foods back to the members of our village, thinking we are bringing in westernized stuffs for them. They are the one introducing good health to us, but after some time, we decided to repay them back by buying all these junks and they feel so happy embracing those things because they feel, oh, my daughter, my son, my son's wife brought me this big burger from Lagos. They will even show it to their friends, and and if you look at some of our villagers, some of the members of our family in the village, they eat good fruits, they eat good food straight from the farm, and they look very healthy until we start pushing them to living our whole lifestyle. And then we start having problems, we start having issues with their health. So when you talk about factors, like I said, it's genetics, it's behavior, it's social, it's medical, and it's environmental. So there is no doubt about all these things. These are the factors that actually determine good health.
Okay, so I have a question quickly from what you've said, a question or two from what you said. Okay, first about poverty. Is poverty really a factor? Because don't poor people really have access to good food, like the vegetables and fruits that you're talking about? Okay, they're affordable in most places. You're talking about villages. Villages have farms, right? So even in some neighborhoods in the big cities, poor people have access to farms where they can get fresh produce. So is poverty really a factor?
There is no doubt. There is no doubt that poverty has always been a factor and will continue to be a factor. You were right. I mean, I'm in a country where the government, encourages people to do home farming. You talk about the villages. There is no doubt that we've got people in the village that, do their farming, sell their products amongst each other. But let's take Lagos State, for example, which is a global city.
Okay.
We've got people in Lagos that are still very poor.
Mm-hmm.
We've got people in Lagos that still eat cooked food in an extremely unhygienic environment.
Okay.
You understand? So, yeah. I mean, we still have people who still have I mean, there is this movement now stopping malaria, you know. And if you look at it from the foundation, what actually causes malaria, from what we were taught? I mean, it has to do with hygiene. It has to do with clearing your environment, and maintaining good hygiene, not allowing ponds of waters here and there that, encourages the breeding of mosquitoes. I mean, poverty, there's no doubt, poverty will always be a factor in determining good health. Because I mean, if you go to the if someone who doesn't have money go to the hospital and he was asked to, like, okay, these are the medications you must take, and you must eat very, very well. We've got people that can't even afford to eat once a day back
True.
home. So how would that person maintain a good health? So there is no two way about it.
Because they can't even afford to
people,
get all the necessary nutrients, even from organic food,
exactly,
into their system. Because I mean,
no
there's
doubt,
just no money to do that.
no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So if we eradicate poverty, we improve the good health of every individual and even the nation. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a question from one of our viewers.
Okay.
Tracy Akwajoto says, how realistic is it to have complete and total good health?
That's an extremely good question. Remember, I mentioned it because I wonder why the World Health Organization puts that word complete. And like I said, it is extremely, look, the truth is this, it's a difficult thing. I'm not going to mince words or go about the bush with this. Like I told you, and I was saying to our viewers and listeners, you can have good physical health. You can be an athlete, you can eat good food, balanced diet, but your mental health, your ability to relate to people, your social well-being are being found wanting. So that is my personal opinion. I don't think achieving that complete physical, mental, and social well-being is something realistic. Yeah. There are people that have, near perfection, near there, but I don't think it's achievable. We've got families, we've got kids, we've got extended family. These are people that we deal with every now and then for our mental and social well-being. So now understand, if I've got a good physical health and I've got a family that is giving me a lot of pressures, that my mental positive attitude is questionable.
Okay.
We've got people, we even have wealthy people that run away from their family because they will just want a good mental attitude and a good mental state. People will tell you, I just want my sanity. That's why I'm not going home. That's why I don't want to go to the village. That no matter how much you give out, no matter how much, and these are people that could
They always
afford
come
good
back for
physical
more.
health. They always come back. So it's unachievable. That is my opinion.
Okay, yeah. Okay, great. If you're just joining us on the Gist with Essay show, we have with us Dr. Oluremi Odubanjo in the house to answer all your health concerns. We have another question from Susan Falola. This time she says, are the imports of Western goods to African continent detrimental because they are not made organically? That's a good question. I was going to raise that, but let's have you answer that.
Extremely good question. You see, we cannot separate good food, balanced diet from health. We can't. And I mentioned it, like I said, let's go back several years ago, growing up in Nigeria, when the era of Mr. Biggs hasn't been there. We've had lives in Nigeria where I'm sure our listeners and viewers still remember this, forgotten the name of that small milk that is very thick with this bread they call iyabeji. All those era where there is always somebody watching out for you. Yeah. I grew up I grew up where I can easily go to my neighbor's house and say, my mom's cooking, but the food is not ready, and I'm extremely hungry. And my neighbor would be like, I come, please give him a plate. We eat together.
Yeah.
But like the questions our viewer just asked now, when this era of westernization evolved in Nigeria, it changes everything. We now have children growing with the level of obesity went up. People don't have the atmosphere, conditioned environment to wanting to exercise or jog. I grew up in a very the atmosphere I grew up in Fadi, Lagos State. I can't imagine, like, compared to where I am now. I still had my jog this morning, came back. It's not entirely a safe atmosphere back home with all the things happening. So bringing that question into place back, these westernized foods has not done anything good to us. Whether anybody wants to listen or believe it or not, it's the truth. Nigerians have been drinking Coke for years now.
And it's almost like an addiction for most people.
It is an addiction. So the person who asked this question is really on point. It has not done any good to us. If we have to do a study now and let's keep away from all those foods for good 1 month. Let's stop ingestion of sugar for a month. Reduce your salt intake for a month. All this canned food, processed food, let them go and see the changes in your health. I have tried it and it has worked for me. I stopped taking sugar since 2017.
Wow.
And yes, I'm not diabetic. I've stopped taking sugar since. For the first 2 weeks, it was like World War III came upon me. But
I've tried that before. Where I just eat only fruits. I'll ask you about that in a bit.
I've never put in sugar in my mouth since 2017. And it's really worked for me. It has helped my physical health. And I still jog almost every day. So these are things that we need to put into our system and our mentality so that we can have good health.
Okay, so the thick milk you were talking about, Tommy just posted, it's condensed milk, yeah?
Condensed milk. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Condensed milk. So is that good or bad?
You need to see the sugar content of condensed milk.
Yes.
We all these things, we got so used to them, that we thought they were things that were helping us. Remember the even Schweppes, the sugar content in Schweppes is extreme. I can't even quantify. Even the Coca-Cola. And now, because they knew, you see, they think, let's look at it technically and logically. Why would Coca-Cola, Sprite, Fanta come back to tell us this is Coca-Cola Zero, sugar-free? If you think you're doing something that is good, if you think you're helping people by giving them something, why rebrand? Why say Coke Zero, Sprite Zero?
I know. I watched an interview on BBC. One of the Coca-Cola representatives actually came to say, even the Zero Coke is not zero sugar.
It's the truth, because these things are carbonated. They are preserved.
Yes, it's not zero sugar, so it's still harmful. And the British government is advocating for people to stop sugar. They've even stopped adding sugar to children's medicine. They used to add sugar to children's medicine to sweeten it so that the kids could take it.
Yeah.
They've taken it out now. I don't know if that's happening in other countries, but
and that is a problem. I attended a conference in Canada where they were saying, no, we don't want to use the word obesity anymore. So they call it adiposity-based chronic disorder.
That makes
I
it
mean,
worse.
it's a way of not wanting to eat the nail on the head. Obesity is obesity. What is adiposity? It's just to let people, change the concept and make people feel it's something that you can actually embrace. It's not so bad. Let's call it what it is. If your BMI is high, it's obesity. So these
It's
are the things
obesity, yeah, it is.
they bring in all these things into our country, particularly the African country, and particularly my country, Nigeria. We love Oyinbo things, eh?
I know.
Aye. All you need to tell a Nigerian is this is from abroad, even if it was made in Oshodi, and they
True.
would rather buy. So, and that's the thing. That's the thing. So, good health is something we need to practice. We are not there yet. Even US as a country is struggling.
Yes,
Every
we're
other
not there.
Western
Even
country
as
is struggling. So,
individuals, we all struggle, don't we? We're all
very,
trying to
very true.
transition. I know personally, I've been trying to transition, and I can go 2 weeks without sugar. I've changed my salt to Himalayan salt, or I'm getting used to not even putting salt in my food at all. Sometimes I forget. You see what I mean? And then I can eat it like that,
Yeah.
no issues. And then after 2 weeks, I'm beginning to crave chocolate so badly. And then before you know, I take a bite of chocolate and I'm back to square one. Let's take some questions and comments from the viewers. Susan
Okay.
Falola says, I was appalled to know our average life expectancy in Nigeria is 54 years. That's sad. But don't you think, I think that all over the world, life expectancy has fallen.
Yeah, it has fallen, no doubt, but it's more drastic and peculiar to the African world.
To the
If you
African
look at
world.
the United Nations projection by 2045, it's been shown, data has shown that there will be more older people than children by 2045. So I'm talking about the Western world now. I don't know what the projections are for Africa, but that is the United Nations, theory as at now. So, it still goes back to factors that determine good health. We need to understand that I talked about substance abuse. If at the age of 35 to 40, someone's liver is already packed, is already being finished because of alcohol, the kidneys, I have a friend who is telling me that if only he has a lot of money, his plan is to go to Nigeria and set up a renal clinic where he can just have like 3 dialysis machine and he will make a
Wow.
lot of money because a lot of people are having their kidneys being shut down back home in Nigeria, of which we don't have facilities for. You see, I always tell people, they say prevention is
It's better
better
than cure.
than cure. But what they don't put is that it's not just better than cure, it's also cheaper than cure.
It's
And that's
also
the
what?
truth. Cheaper.
Cheaper
It's,
than cure. You're right.
I'm telling you, because
You're right. So let's take another
people,
question
yeah.
from a viewer. Oluwatoyin Moduni says, I live in a country that most of the fruits and foods we eat are genetically modified. How can I ensure a good health?
Look, the thing is this: majority of these fruits are canned. They are most of them are even being synthesized. And I always tell people, look, it's just something that I took up as a principle. When we are buying fruits, we go to a fruit market. My wife knows I don't compromise that. I don't believe in these 100% fruits, blah, 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 put in one jug, and she brings them home and say, no, bring me the fresh fruits.
Fruits.
If I
Let's
have to
juice it.
blend them, you see, the problem is majority of us, and I wouldn't blame us, we're very hardworking, particularly for those of us in abroad. We don't have time to start, doing some things for ourselves because of time. You taking children to school, you have to be at work on time. So we tend to like resort into taking all those things. But the truth is this: I put fruits just beside me in my car when I'm going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I carry fruits to work. I put them in a lunchbox. These are the things because look, I tell people, if only we can take care of ourselves the same way we take care of our good cars, our lives will be better. I'm telling you,
True.
people take care of their cars like it's their first child. And if
I
only we
know.
can honestly, if
Yeah,
only we
there are
can
people who
reverse
call their
it,
cars my baby.
exactly. They even give their
Okay,
cars names.
so we have another question. Olorioba says, can we then conclude that technology is detrimental to actualization of complete health? Because all that technology offers us has side effects on our health, e.g., microwave, freezer, etc.
Look, let's if we will not be doing justice to the technological world by saying entirely technology has been detrimental. Remember again, when we talk about mechanized farming, this involves use of technology. You know, we've had people now that have been looking into artificial intelligence in terms of farming. You know, I wouldn't go that area and make that conclusions. No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, it's something that we just need to balance. And even at the food we put into our system, that's why we call it balanced diet. You know, it's like water. If you drink water excessively, people don't know water can intoxicate. That's what we call water intoxication. So everything you do in excess, technology has come to stay. We would not push technology away at this point in time, in this millennium, in this age and era. But the thing is this, I mean, when we talk about technology, we talk about things that add to what we put into our system. I mean, technology helps in processing food. We still eat canned food. I remember the era of geisha back home in Nigeria. It's
Oh
canned.
Lord.
You just use your index finger, remove it, put it inside bread. I mean, the fish didn't just get into those canned food. But with time, remember there are some diseases. Look at, I mean, we're talking about COVID-19 now, and every country struggled until the vaccine comes out. We don't even know the outcome of the vaccines. We can't decide that until maybe 2, 3 years afterwards. People are saying they've had herd immunity in some countries. Israel has declared. America is saying they cannot go out and do. But all these things are just theory. We don't know. So it's the same thing. There will be evolutions. There will be things coming out fresh. There will be things we'll get to be knowing. But technology will also take us there. So it's not entirely detrimental to our health. It's got its own role. We just have to be very observant and ensure that whatever message, whatever information we're getting, we're processing those information as well. That's my take.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Odubanjo. Before we let you go, one last question. Can you just share with us some tips that are really necessary to preserving good health in this day and age?
This look, it's very simple and it's very straightforward. Whatever we put into our system, it's one of the things I will first say we should be very, conversant of. Nutrition would be number one for me. I mean, you can't tell me you eat burger in the morning, burger in the afternoon, burger at night, 5 days a roll in a week, and you want to have a good physical health. It is not possible. So nutrition is first. Scientists have proved it that our body needs over 40 different kinds of nutrients, of which you will never be able to get in one food. And that is why we call it balanced diet. So we need to eat fruits, lots of vegetables, and people tend to believe that I'm the kind of person who struggled a lot of time with breakfast. I struggled. I hardly eat breakfast, which is honestly not good. But because I have to, I tend to like, okay, let me change to fruits, vegetables. I eat banana, even if it's just 2 or 3 in the morning. So nutrition is very, very essential. The second one is our physical fitness. You know, I
Okay.
mean, if you're working in a place where, I mean, you're in the third, fourth floor of your building, you don't do exercise at home, you don't run. On the weekends, you're always on your sofa watching Premiership and drinking and eating with friends. Why not just say, I will rather walk and take the stairs every morning to my office? I mean, I will understand if your office is on the 10th, 15th floor, but if you're on the fourth, fifth, you know, do it every day. Exercise, fitness, at least, I mean, it's been proven that if you exercise 30 minutes every day, at least every day, it goes a long way. And exercise
Yes.
has been proven in a lot of studies to prolong
I've seen
life.
that research.
I've got a 80-year-old in my complex here that even jogs more than me. This man is retired. I'm talking about 80 years old, and he jogs
Wow.
every morning, every morning. And he's been a source of inspiration for me. If that kind of a person can still jog every morning, then what am I doing? So even when I feel
Exactly.
tired, and I remembered, like this morning, I was tired. Then when I remember this man, I took off my trainers and decided to go out, and I went. So we have to motivate each other. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's my belief. So
Okay, we have a late
essentially,
question coming in from our guest. After this question, I'll let you go, Dr. Odubanjo. Tommy Enoidem says, what's your advice on the use of supplements?
look, the use of supplements is essential. Like I just said now, we've got over 40 nutrients, different nutrients that the body requires, of which we cannot get it in one food source.
Okay,
So we need to supplement. It's very, very good. But like I said, everything has to be done moderately.
in moderation.
Like we've had cases of people that have got what we call hypervitaminosis, where they got too much of vitamins in their systems, and this is also detrimental to health. So people must understand everything has to come in moderation. If you think you require folic acid, do a test to at least find out what is your serum folate. Is it low? Is it high? And unfortunately, back home and in some other places, these tests are not available.
Yeah.
People just want to take somebody has got muscle pains, and the person goes to a doctor or a pharmacist and they give that person calcium. So just take calcium, and the person starts taking calcium forever. And these are things that will form crystals and cause
Wow.
kidney stones. Yeah, they cause kidney stones, vitamin C, all these things. I mean, the era of COVID, people were taking high dose of vitamin C, and they are causing themselves kidney stones.
Wow.
You're preventing something not in moderation, and you are causing problems for yourself.
For yourself, yeah. Creating other problems for yourself.
Exactly. A lot of people were taking some sort of traditional medicine that is, not good for the liver, not good for the kidneys, because they were not taking them in moderation.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it has to be in moderation. Supplements are good, there's no doubt about that, and they really, really work. We just have to do it in moderation.
So in summation, in summary, the what's important for your general health is one, your nutrition, and two, your physical fitness. You have to engage in physical activities and then eat the right nutrients for your body. If you need supplements, fine.
And your social health as well,
And your
very,
social
very,
health.
and social, very, very important. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
you need to work on your social health as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Odubanjo, for joining us on Gist with Esse. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate anytime.
And everyone else who joined us on the show, I see you guys, African Rice TV, Tommy, Oyemi Osage, Tracy Akpojotso, Susan Falola, Olori Oba, and Oluwa Soyi Omoduni. I can't read out every name, but I love you guys. I appreciate you for joining the show today. Keda Ace in the house. Thanks for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you. Until next time on Gist with Essay. Remember, stay positive, stay happy, stay mended. Before we leave, let me play Olorioba's song one more time.